All right, I want to hear from some of you. What kind of glue and stickum did you give to your memory glue guys? You've got duct tape. You've got super glue. What else? Gorilla glue, a stapler. What else? A nail gun. Excellent. You marched to the beat of your own drummer, Steve. Way to go. What else?
I put hair gel.
Hair gel. That's awesome. What else? What other kinds of glue and tape and stickum did you give to your memory glue guys? Pardon? Push pins, scotch tape. Your memory glue guys are loaded. Your memory glue guys can do the job. But as we mentioned before, for the person early in Alzheimer's disease, the memory glue guy is getting murdered. It's getting ultimately destroyed. So, you have heard people say things, look you right in the eye, toast in their hand, saying, honey, I haven't had a thing to eat. Nobody gave me breakfast. Honey, I just didn't have anything to eat. Honey, can I just get a cookie or a cracker? Raise your hand if you've heard that. Sure evidence that something's wrong with the memory glue guy. And yet the best of us, in the best of places, find ourselves responding like this. Honey, you know you had breakfast. You remember I gave it to you myself. We had eggs and toast this morning. We would not feed you. You know that. Raise your hand if you've heard that response. People with the memory glue guy being murdered may say, I haven't gone to anything here. Nobody told me there was a singer this afternoon. I stayed in my room the whole afternoon. And you know they've just come back from the singer. Raise your hand if you've heard that. And the family believes it every time, right? And the best of us in the best of places find ourselves saying, well, of course you did. We didn't forget you. Remember we sang, You Are My Sunshine, and you sang it right along. Don't you remember? Raise your hand if you've heard that response. A person with a murdered memory glue guy may see her son every single Wednesday afternoon and say, well, they've just dumped me here. They've just absolutely dumped me here. I can't remember the last time I've seen them. They don't even come around anymore. Raise your hand if you've heard that. And then we hear the response from the son, perhaps. Mom, I'm here every Wednesday. You know that. Mom, every Wednesday I come in. We went out to Five Guys Burgers last time. Don't you remember? Raise your hand if you've heard that. The implication for us, I think, in our profession, the implication of this is to eliminate the phrase, don't you remember? Don't you remember is usually, and you won't see this in your handouts, you can just stay in your sketching page. This phrase, don't you remember, is said out of kindness. It's said from a good place. It really, really is. But don't you remember can only make the person feel a little bit more foolish, a little bit more non-successful, a little bit more scared that they're losing their brain. So in most cases, if the person believes that she is supposed to, or if the person believes she hasn't had breakfast, the person believes she's been left here, the response is, I am so sorry. Let me get you some toast. I'm so sorry. I'm sure your son will come in soon. I'm so sorry. Let me help you with that. Instead of, don't you remember? Now, because I want you to stay, because I want you to remember this so well, what I'd like you to do right now is I would like you to murder your memory glue guy. And here's what I mean by murder. Don't just scribble him out. No, 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 no. I mean murder him. Shoot him, stab him, hang him, poison him, do something very graphic. Your neighbors ought to be able to see the manner of death. Okay, what happened to yours? Burned up. What happened to yours? Stabbed in the head. What happened to yours? Stabbed in the head. He sucked up poison. What happened to yours? An arrow right through the head. What happened to yours? What happened to that memory glue octopus? He's being stabbed. I think he needs some more, Judy, you seem like a nice lady. A little more blood and dismemberment there. The reason I'm going on and on and on about this, and I know it seems like overkill, is that when you go back to your organizations, I want you guys to have a shorthand. I want you to have a shorthand so that when you hear a well-intentioned coworker saying, come on, sit down, sit down. You don't want to get up and break your hip again, don't you remember? When you hear, don't you remember, I want your shorthand with one another to be, remember, her memory glue guy isn't working. I want you all to be able to remember this concept of the memory glue guy so that you can help one another ban that phrase, don't you remember? Now some people ask me, they say, why is it a memory glue guy? Is it always a man? And I say, yes, I am sure it's a memory glue man. Because if we had a memory glue lady in our brains, we would never forget anything ever for decades. Am I right?